Toronto Liberal MP Shaun Chen to resign following car accident last year. When Conservative MP Larry Brock announced that he was resigning, news outlets across the country seemed to be repeating the exact same line. He was the 7th Conservative MP to leave Pierre Poilievre's caucus since the 2025 election. But today, Liberal MP Shaun Chen announced his resignation, and the framing suddenly looked very different. Let's take a look.
To breaking news now, Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to lose one of his MPs as Ontario's Shaun Chen appears set to step down. Chen has represented the riding of Scarborough North since 2015, and a source tells CTV News he will be stepping down later this month due to health concerns following a car accident he was involved in last fall.
Scarborough North MP Shaun Chen. Maybe not a household name, but he has been a Liberal MP for the riding since 2015. Never has been in cabinet before, had a fairly low profile. He was involved in a serious car accident last fall, and he says that has made traveling from his riding in the GTA to Ottawa on a regular basis just too difficult. So he's decided he is going to resign his seat as of August 15th.
Toronto Liberal MP Shaun Chen to resign following car accident last year. In a statement, Prime Minister Mark Carney thanked Chen for his advocacy for young people and his work to combat racism. Quote, wishing you a full recovery and best of luck of what comes next. I know you'll keep making a difference for years to come, end quote, Carney posted on social media. Chen's name is the latest on a growing list of MPs quitting their seats this summer. Liberal MP Shaun Chen to resign following car accident last year. Liberal MP Shaun Chen says he plans to resign at the end of this week. The Scarborough North MP issued a statement on social media today saying injuries sustained in a car accident in late 2025 have prevented him from traveling to Ottawa as often as the job requires. Chen was first elected in 2015 after serving as the chair of the Toronto District School Board. So, there's the framing of Shaun Chen. Pretty matter of fact, accepting at face value that he's resigning his seat as a result of just struggling with injuries, with a car accident. Okay, I will believe you. But the interesting thing is what the media actually leaves out. This is how they characterize Larry Brock resigning.
About Conservative Larry Brock, the Ontario MP who represents the riding of Brantford, Brant South Six Nations, revealed he is stepping down next month to return to a position at the Brantford Crown Attorney's Office. In a statement on social media, Pierre Poilievre praised Brock for his, quote, tireless work. He is the 7th Conservative MP to leave Poilievre's caucus since the federal election last year.
Okay, so that's where trade is concerned, Nick. Now let's talk about politics and what's happening with the Conservatives. Another caucus member, they're stepping down. What does this really mean for the Conservatives and the leader himself, Pierre Poilievre?
Brock's departure is another blow to the Conservative backbench. He is the 7th MP to leave the Conservative Party since the election in 2025. 4 of those MPs crossed the floor to join the Liberals.
Conservative MP Larry Brock announces he is quitting next month. That's interesting, because if you look at the same paper with the same kind of story with Shaun Chen, it looks very different. But let's continue. Ontario Conservative MP Larry Brock is resigning as Member of Parliament and is to return to his previous role as a prosecutor in southwestern Ontario. Brock, the MP for Brantford, Brant South Six Nations, said in a social media post Thursday he would officially resign his seat September 18th. To return to the quote-unquote front lines of justice at the Crown Attorney's Office in Brantford, Ontario. First elected in 2021, Brock served as justice critic but was shuffled out of that position by Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre in June. That's not exactly correct, but, who cares about accuracy, right? His departure also leaves another vacancy for the Conservatives and triggers a by-election in the southwestern Ontario riding. He is the 7th MP to leave Poilievre's caucus since 2025. Where have we heard before? With 4 of them crossing the floor to the Liberals. Conservative MP announces he will resign next month. And you see below this, it also characterizes this, that he is the 7th MP to leave Poilievre's caucus since the 2025 election. So this is effectively the exact same story with the exact same framing, with the exact same words that the National Observer actually posted. So here's the problem with the mainstream media in Canada, folks. What is seemingly its strength is also its biggest weakness. So when the Canadian press puts out something, what these other news agencies do is they grab it, they take it, and that's their story. They don't have to write anything because it's already been written, and it's just distributed out to the news machine across Global News, Globe and Mail, National Post, everything. It's all there. Now, that's not to say that these organizations don't have their own writers writing their own articles. They do. But it's important when you're looking at these major developments in politics like these. When you have Larry Brock resigning, it was for personal reasons, and he didn't want to go into it. We heard the same thing from, at one point, Sean Fraser. We heard the same thing at one point from Anita Anand, and we heard the same thing from a bunch of people in the Liberal Party leading into the back half of 2024, when the Trudeau government was essentially the Titanic going down. And it wasn't really challenged at all. But we see these types of articles come out, and Larry Brock resigning for legitimate reasons, and they always have to tack this on. It's the 7th MP to lead Pierre Poilievre's caucus. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Carney has lost 6. 6. Why aren't we talking about that? You heard the CTV reporter say, well, you know, what does this mean about Poilievre's leadership? Jeez. You can almost time your watch to it as to when these folks are actually going to be saying those words, because you know they're coming, right? You know they're coming. But this is the importance of being objective when they are supposed to be objective news organizations. Northern Perspective is not objective. We have a bias. We declare it. That way nobody's surprised. Yet we still have somebody saying, well, your videos are biased, almost like a gotcha. And we say, yep. Yes, we are. Yes, we are biased. The difference is we declare it. So it's not really a surprise. These other organizations, they try and say, well, we're not biased. We're not. And this is what Canadians are fed. And it's disgusting. Absolutely disgraceful. And it's disgraceful because you're not doing your jobs. The reporters may be doing their jobs, but the editors and the producers and the senior executives, they're the ones not doing their jobs. You are framing this. You're not just reporting the facts. If you were, it would sound a lot more like when you report on liberal things. If you want to meet the same standard. Otherwise, all of these stories should say, this is the 6th MP that Mark Carney has lost since the 2025 federal election. What does this say about Mark Carney's leadership, considering we actually have a bunch of reports that he's not a very nice guy when he's in caucus, that he yells at people, that he doesn't talk to people, that he has a very tiny inner circle, that he doesn't decide things with the rest of caucus on. Considering he has a pretty large cabinet, you would wonder, what's the purpose of me being in cabinet if I'm not being involved in some of these decisions? But there we have it. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Carney has lost another Liberal MP. What does that mean? Who knows? I think we're all waiting to see who's going to be appointed to be the candidate in that federal election. Is it going to be another one of Mark Carney's inner circle? Is it going to be another one of Mark Carney's friends? I guess we'll see. But this is what we're waiting for, folks. But what we continue to wait for is for our mainstream media to finally be reporting the facts objectively and not trying to put a political spin on that. That's the job for political parties, not for so-called objective news organizations. And just to close out this video, folks, just wanted to say that Tanya and I are very, very appreciative of all of the comments and messages that we've been receiving for our son who had that serious accident last night. We were in the hospital until about 4 o'clock this morning. Shout out to all of the folks at McMaster Children's Hospital. They took just amazing care of our son. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, he's still in rough shape. He's, got some definite post-concussion symptoms going on, and those we'll have to help him with for the next little while. But no broken bones, no internal injuries, and that's probably the best we could have asked for considering what he went through. So thank you everybody for pulling together and praying for our son and giving us all these good thoughts. We felt them every hour last night, and we still feel them today. So thank you. And this is what makes NP Nation the best community on the internet.